Kingdom family, here we are. Here we are, prepared. Sorry, I'm having a little tech issue. There we go. Hello, Kingdom family. What's up? What's up? I am so excited and so honored to be with you all today. We are in for a dynamic session, a session that is going to help us open our hearts and open our minds into spaces that we may have never thought imaginable. I'm so honored to be with you today. And if this is your first time joining in on the Kingdom, I want you to just type in the words "first time" in the chat box so that we all know that it's you and that you're here for your first time, and you'll feel the entire community welcoming you here today. And so welcome, welcome, welcome to the Kingdom. You know, as we kind of get started here at the Kingdom, one of the things that I say every single week, and I'll continue to say every single week as we continue to move on this journey together, is this. We believe that all beliefs are welcome here. All biologies are welcome here. We believe in the power of music to open our hearts and minds, and we believe that wisdom can come from many places. In that being said, we believe in an expanded definition of self, and here at the Kingdom, we don't just honor or tolerate each other's differences, but we know that we are stronger because of those differences, and in that way, we rise together. And so hello, Elka, first time. Hello, Jen, first time. Hello, Kristen, first time. Hello, everybody, all the first timers, and hello, all of our regulars, Anna, Carrie, Allison, everybody, Raylene, Alonzo, Laura, Devin, and just so many of you. I wish I could say all of your names, but you know there's a lot of you here. And so welcome, welcome, and our community will continue to welcome you here. Hello, Alton, and all the first timers. And so since we have many first timers today, this is our format. We always begin with a poem or music or some sort of a song, and then we go into our prayer. A session of prayer. And I'll guide us through a prayer, but then I will always leave you with the opportunity to make your own personal prayer, your personal intention for the session. Then we'll jump into a powerful teaching, a practice, a golden nugget for you to take away, and an action so that you can have a deeper experience of your own life and actually take these teachings into your life. And so welcome, Adele, welcome everybody, all the first timers. It's so amazing to have you here. And as we begin, always, let us start by dropping into a space of prayer. Into whatever that space is, whatever name you call it by, this is our moment to drop in together. Hands over the heart. Take a deep, full breath in and a breath out. God, Spirit, Universe, all that is, all that ever has been, and all that ever will be, we thank you. Thank you for bringing this community together again and again and again here for our 39th week together. Thank you for our health. Thank you for our wealth. Thank you for our vibrancy. Thank you for the abundance. Thank you for the teachings that come through each and every one of us. And thank you for this community that is standing strong together. We pray that you lay your hands on every single person who is here and remind every person who is here of their true power, of the power that they have to create their own lives, of the power that each of us have to remember who we are even when we fall off track, and the power of this new moon today, in this day in Aries, as we take control and we activate our fire and our flame to go after what it is that we really desire. May we stop wasting time. May we remember that we're not alone, that we're protected by you and our ancestors. And that we don't just get our trauma from our ancestors, we also get our strength. Because our ancestors survived. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. And so we thank you from all time and space for bringing us together, past, present, future, infinity, from all directions, for protecting us, for reminding us of the light in the shadow, and bringing us back home to ourselves. This is your moment now to welcome in your own personal prayer. God, Spirit, Universe, all that is, all that ever has been, and all that ever will be, we thank you. Thank you for this growing community rising strong. May all the words that are spoken here today be used for the benefit of all, and may be all in the all transformed into the highest good for every single person here, every person listening to the recording and the podcast and the replay. May we all feel the web of love and connection that we're creating here together. So it is. Ashe, Aho, Salam, Amen, Shalom, Satnam, Om, Awen. Thank you. Here we are. Here we are, Kingdom Family. So, interestingly, I feel really excited to share a song with you that's been coming to me today. And it's one that I've just been singing over and over and over and over and over in my head today. And it wasn't something that I would have ever imagined to share on the Kingdom. And I'm just going to do a little bit of it a cappella for you right now. Many of you will know this song from my album. And it's one that I think relates to this teaching really fully. And what I'm going to invite you to do is listen to this song like a prayer. Listen to the words like a prayer. Mirror, mirror on the wall, I can't see myself no more. Can you filter, retouch me? I don't want to see these flaws. I wanted you to be the one to rescue me from me, the slave, the master. Mirror, mirror, about to fall. No one's playing fair at all. The mirrors are broken. They're broken inside. The mirrors are broken. The truth is a lie. The mirrors are broken. They're broken inside. The mirrors are broken. And I can't hide, I can't hide, I can't hide, I can't hide. Listen to the words. Mirror, mirror, won't you see digital perfection in me? My body is a prisoner, murder in the 3rd degree. It's such a crime to be the saint, the sinner in me. I see a war with no winner. Mirror, mirror, about to fall. I'ma take you off the wall. The mirrors are broken. They're broken inside. The mirrors are broken. The truth is a lie. The mirrors are broken. They're broken inside. Hey, the mirrors are broken. And I can't hide, I can't hide, I can't hide, I can't hide. 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 Just feel what that wakes up in you wherever the story goes for you. The mirrors are broken. I can't hide. The mirrors are broken. The truth is a lie. And so what is it that we are looking at in the mirror? What is it that we are even creating in the mirrors of our lives that are broken reflections of who it is that we think we are, of what we think that the world is or should be, or what are the projections that we're making on our reality that are actually impacting our ability to become the fullest versions of ourselves? And I'm talking about this both individually and collectively. This is about looking in the mirror and not being able to see anything but the things that are wrong, and also creating the mirrors around us, creating the mirrors that we put around us, because we each take part in creating the mirror of this collective reality and facade. And what are we placing on these mirrors that distort things, that affect our ability to step fully into the reality that we desire? And so this is what we're talking about today. So Kingdom, welcome, family, welcome. And today's session is on the power of something that I call the double A's. The double A's. So I want you all to guess in the chat box, what do you think the double A's mean? So I'll give you a hint. It's two words. Both of the words start with the letter A. So I want to see what you all think double A's actually mean. And as you're going in, I'm going to give you a little hint. Double A's and what we're talking about today has a lot to do with this concept that I mentioned here with broken mirrors. Like Carrie said so beautifully, the distortion of the funhouse mirrors that we've created in our own lives. I want to say that again. The distortion of the funhouse mirrors that we create and hold up in our own lives and then continue to go again and again and again and look at again and again and again. And we continue to go up to these mirrors even though we know is broken. But we go, okay, I'm going to keep looking in this mirror. All right, I see y'all. All right. Alonzo says, Alonzo and alive, nah, fool. That's great. Ask and answer, awareness and acceptance, awareness and attitude, action. Carrie says her bra size. That's hilarious, Carrie. Alignment, awareness, appearance. I love you all at the Kingdom. Authenticity, acceptance. These are great words. These are great words, everybody, but none of them are it. And I wasn't expecting you to guess this one. So let me tell you what we're talking about today. And I've been so excited. I've been studying this actually for the past several months, and very excited to teach this to you. The two words, assertions and assessments. Assertions and assessments. So I want you all to go ahead and type that in. Type those words in. Amy almost got it. She said assumptions. Type in those words so that you can remember them. These are going to be big themes throughout our entire time together. Assertions and assessments. So let me tell you what this is and why this is important. This work comes from something called speech acts. It's a theory by somebody named Fernando Flores. And as I learned the power of speech acts, no joke, I kid you not, it literally changed the trajectory of how I live my life. It has fully changed how I see, the way I speak, the way I show up, the way I write, the way I show up for you all, how I frame things, and also, most importantly, how I'm going about creating this life that is mine and ours together. So let's jump into this for a second here, okay? So I'm going to give you the definition here, and then we're going to unpack it a little bit more deeply, step by step, because for most of you, this is going to be a totally brand new concept, okay? So here's the deal. Just getting there we go. Okay, assertions are verifiable facts. Assessments are the stories and the meanings that we attach to those facts. I'm going to say that again. Assertions are verifiable facts. Assessments, on the other hand, are the stories and meaning that we attach to those facts. So I'll give you a couple examples. And again, this is from Speech Acts Theory by Fernando Flores. And I've been studying this hardcore with my mentor and for the past several months because once I first heard it, I was in an organization called the Association of Transformational Leaders, and this guy, Scott, taught it, and I immediately dove in because I said, oh my gosh, if the whole world knew this, this would change the way that we work. So let me give you an assertion, okay? Remember, assertion is a verifiable fact. Assertion, I'm 5'10", okay, 5'10". Assessment from that assertion is I'm tall. I'm going to go into this a little more deeply in a moment. Assertion, it's 65 degrees outside right now. Assessment is it's cold outside. Assertion, I'm 5'10". Assessment, I'm tall. Assertion, it's 65 degrees outside. Assessment, it's cold outside. So let's look at this, okay? Let's look at this together for a second. Here I'm making like a split screen for you all so you can really start to understand and feel the difference with these two A's. Assertions are verifiable by multiple sources, measurable, often unchanging in whatever that moment was, objective, and can be labeled as true or false by some commonly agreed upon standard that we've decided to agree upon. All right, so that's an assertion. An assessment, on the other hand, can never be verified as true or false. And that's because they come from someone's subjective experience. They're the stories that we create from our own perspective of something. Some of you all know where this is going. So taking that in mind, okay? I know the words are similar, assertions and assessments. Let's look at this, okay? I'm 5'10", okay? That is, if you measure with my hair, I'm about 6 feet, but I'm 5'10", really, 5'10 and a half on a lucky day. So an assessment that some people will say, especially if you're in my family, is that I'm tall. I'm taller than my mom. My mom's like 5'1" or 5'2", taller than all of my siblings. I'm taller than my dad, taller than my grandparents. In my family, I'm tall. But if you put me next to a basketball team, you might make the assessment that I'm short. Right? Or if you put me next to a bunch of kindergartners, you would say that I might be a giant. So the assessment that I'm tall changes depending on the context and perspective. All right? The assertion, I'm 5'10", doesn't change. You can get a ruler, you can measure it, you could change it. It changes a little bit with my hair, but ultimately you get what I'm saying. This is the same. Let's look at the other example, just to be very clear. Assertion. It's 65 degrees outside, and I see you all calculating it in centigrade. Beautiful. 65 degrees outside, okay? So that's a temperature. It can be measured. An assessment from that is it's cold outside. If you live in Los Angeles, 65 degrees is probably chilly. Reasoning to cancel stuff. 65 degrees, we're like, ooh, give me my tea and like, let me go inside. It's too cold to go out, on a hike. If you're in New York City, which I lived in New York for a couple of years, when it's 65 degrees in March, people outside in bikinis, like literally sunbathing in bikinis in Central Park when it's 65. All perspective. Depends on who you're asking. I wasn't out there in Central Park in a bikini. Anyway, but you get the point, right? So this is a really important distinction to make. Now, one other important distinction is this. Assertions and assessments can only be about something that has happened or the past. It can never be about the future. It can never be about something that's going to come. You cannot make an assertion about something in the future. You can only make an assessment. So assertions are always based upon something that happened or is happening in the moment right now that can be measured, multiplied by multiple people, and seen from very different perspectives. Are you all following me on this right now? Okay? Great. So this is really important because what most of us do, individually and collectively, is we build the mirrors of our lives. We build our entire lives on assessment, on top of 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 assessment, and then wonder why we're confused, lost, stressed, and in the collective standing on opposite sides of the room, deciding whose life matters more. Deciding which history is getting erased, deciding who's racist and not racist, deciding who's a white supremacist and who's not, deciding who's this and who's that. All assessment on assessment on assessment on assessment on assessment on assessment on assessment, which is not grounded in any reality that everyone can multiply and agree upon. And when we create our realities on assessments, listen carefully, I'm not saying assessments aren't important. In fact, assessments are actually the most important. But when they're not grounded in something, we experience disintegration. We experience dis-ease in our bodies and in our minds. And so we have to look at the ways that we are creating assessments in our own lives and letting all those stories, all those assessments dictate what our next move is, or what we think our next move should be. Our fear, our relationships, dating, our work, our creativity, all the things that we choose to do and that we wake up to around here. So here I'm going to give you a few assessments that I think many of us make that we often think are assertions. And actually, before I go into this fully, I want to say this very clearly. Anyone who is, first of all, everyone, I believe, needs to know this. And you'll see where this goes as I'm giving you the building blocks right now, but you'll see actually how this goes as it impacts your life. However, okay, what we need to understand is anyone who's out there as a teacher or a leader or sharing your voice or as a parent or as anyone who ends up having some kind of authority or influence over any person or thing, okay? Or anybody that somebody looks at for guidance or wisdom. So it's not about being like an Instagram famous or teaching the kingdom. It's about our responsibility for our words. We need to be rigorous and responsible. I'll never forget when Scott Cody said this, rigorous and responsible for making sure other people understand when we are making assertions or assessments. We must be responsible for making sure other people understand when we are making assertions or assessments about ourselves, about their lives, and about the world. So all of that being said, hold on, something's trying to come through. Assertions are incredibly important because when there's an assertion, there can be an agreement point. It's unarguable. And the thing is about assertions is they're actually usually just pretty basic, right? Like I'm 5'6" doesn't tell a story. I'm 5'10" doesn't tell a story. It's this degrees outside doesn't tell a story. This is really important because when we can agree upon or come to a common foundation of an assertion, then we have something to discuss and something to work with. Even if our assessments of that assertion are different, we still have some kind of common ground to work from. Do you understand that? This is essential because if we're just making the foundation of the thing an assessment, then there's no space for everybody to agree. This is how conspiracy theories begin, right? And I'm good for a couple of those, right? Like I enjoy reading them and watching them and all those kind of things. However, it's really important for us to look at, okay, the earth is round, right? We have pictures, we have the whole things. That is like something that we look at now today as an assertion. Science proves it. You can go into space, you can look at it, you can see the curve. The earth is round, right? So I remember I was actually curious because I know that there's a whole community of flat earthers. And I went on YouTube and I Googled to see like, whoa, there's all these people who believe the earth is flat. Why? And they have all their reasons, right? So you put these two people in a room, the earth is round, the earth is flat. Because there's no verifiable evidence for the earth being flat that anybody can agree upon, there's no space, no common ground for conversation. You literally can't have a conversation about it. Just an argument. You can't find a center point. This sounds like a really kind of like out there topic, but think about how this applies to every area of your life. When there's no assertion to agree upon, how do you make choices? How do you have conversations? How do you make decisions? I'll give you another example really quick. How many of you have said, for example, if you're in a partnership with somebody or in a relationship and you say, I can't afford that. Those words, right? I can't afford that. That's an assessment, right? Until you can ground it in an assertion that says, this is how much money I have in my bank account. This is how much it costs. And then when you come to that assertion in a conversation point, now you have a conversation to have because you can create solutions. And the solutions around your bank could be, well, can you get credit? Now I can't afford that changes, right? If you can get credit, then you can afford it, right? Can you borrow money? If you could borrow money, then you can afford it. Do you see how the assessment, I can't afford that, changes depending on the assertion that it's coming from? So I'm giving you these kind of very basic examples of context so that when we start applying it to your life, you can see how this really works. Cool? So let me give you some assessments that many of us often think are assertions, okay? Assessment, claiming you're right about something in the future. Many of you know I do tarot readings and astrology readings and different, private sessions with people. And when I do these private sessions, it's really important that I always lay out for people right away. You have free will. This can shift. This can change. I'm giving you what I believe is the forecast based upon this universal alignment, but it is not an assertion. Because guess what? If I tell you in your reading, it's going to be raining men, but you don't go outside, then you ain't going to experience the rain. And so for you, it's not raining, right? So this is an assessment of how this all works, okay? Here's another assessment that we often think is an assertion. Should or shouldn't. This person should do that, shouldn't do that. That should have happened, that shouldn't have happened. From your perspective, maybe that's the case, but it can't be true for everybody. Here's a big one that we always say that I want us to be careful with. The fact is, the truth is. The truth is, and the fact is, according to who? Right? We say these words all the time, but according to who? Here's another big one. This person is a good person or a bad person. Good person or a bad person. This person is trustworthy or not trustworthy. To who? This thing that I'm doing or this thing that I'm choosing not to do is either safe or not safe. I've told you all many examples of having conversations with my mom about places that I wanted to travel and her being worried that it wasn't safe. According to what? Who? Context? Where? So these are often things I want you to think about, the things in your own life that you have used as an assessment and given an assessment when you thought you were giving an assertion. Can anybody think of these right now? Allison just said a great one. I can't. Could be an assertion in a right context, but usually often an assessment. Okay? So think about the way that this has shown up in your own life and start to think of some of the assessments that you are making right now about your own life that you're using as assertions but are actually not assertions. Okay? I want you to type those in. And we all have a story about this. I have a story that I want to tell you all, but I want to see if I can come up with a different one. Hold on really quick. Okay, I'm gonna try this one. It's interesting. You all know I can kind of feel when something's trying to kind of come through for you. And I'm feeling that a lot right now in this session. And I was gonna tell a different story, but I'm gonna try this one out on y'all. And if it doesn't work, I'll try another one. Okay, so here we go. I remember when I was growing up, okay, and my mom can vouch for me on this, and this might surprise many of you. So when I was growing up, I often dated girls. I lost my virginity to a girl. I was with many girls, women. I dated girls, and I also had my thing going on with the boys on the side, like in the locker room and in places that it didn't belong, right? And just in other places, family gatherings, things like this. And I, as a kid, made the statement, the declaration, that I was straight. Right? I said this all the way up until I was 18. I'm straight, I'm straight, I'm straight, I'm straight, I'm straight, I'm straight. And so the reality, the mirror that created around me was this context where I was dating girls were approaching me, I was having sex with girls, I wasn't one of those gay guys who faked it. I actually really liked them. I really had very genuine relationships with them. It wasn't like I was using them, but there was a part of me that I was hiding. But I made the declaration at that time that I was straight, okay? Fast forward, I turn 18, okay? I go to college, and now all of a sudden, I said I'm gay, right? I said I was gay. And then in that moment of saying that I was gay, it was like a wall went down, whoosh, immediate wall that said, no more women, only guys. Right? And I had this kind of in-between phase where I was like, I'm bi, I'm this, I'm bisexual, I'm this, I'm that. And it was, and I can't believe I'm talking about this on here, but I was saying I was bisexual, and in that moment I was kind of figuring out. But then once I said I was gay, that was it. Right? There was never a moment for a very long time until, anyway, a few years ago, but for a very, very long time, over a decade, where I had any situation with a woman. It was like that assertion that I was making on my life, that declaration that I was making on my life, made an impact on the reality that I was creating around me. Okay? So this is a really good example of how we can use assertions and or assessments to create declarations that create the reality that we are living around us. I want you to follow that, okay? Declarations are a really important part of this conversation. And let me tell you about, hold on. Let me tell you about, I'm having a little slide issue today with this. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Okay. So let me tell you about declarations, and then we're going to go into this a little bit more deeply. I'm kind of easing us into the concept because these are new words for a lot of us. So a declaration is a type of assertion when the person who's saying it has the authority to actually say it. I'm going to turn the music off for this one so y'all can hear me clearly. A declaration, type that in, declaration, is an assertion when the person who's saying it has the authority to make that declaration. So let me give you an example. Saying that I love you, right? I love you is a declaration. If you're somebody's partner, you have the authority to say that, and it means something, right? It means something in that moment. If I say, I declare war, for example, it means nothing. If I say, I declare peace, it really means nothing. If I was saying I declare war on another country, it doesn't mean anything if I say it. If the President of the United States says it, it changes the course of history. You understand that? I declare you guilty. If a judge says it, you're guilty whether you committed the crime or not. If the judge says you're innocent whether you committed the crime or not. But at the same time, we have a lot of declarations that we can make just because we're a human being. So for example, I said, I love you. You can just make that as a human being. You have the authority. Me saying, I'm straight, I'm gay, I'm this. I have the authority to make that declaration for myself and start to create my reality around me. Nelson Mandela, I'm a free man. Even if you're in prison, for Nelson Mandela, you could not control his mind. Right? And so when we say this, why am I gay, for example? Because I said so. That's it. Right? Because I said so. And this is a big, big topic. Why, when we go into, I'll say it this way. Speech acts theory is super important because what it does is it proposes, what speech acts theory, Fernando Flores' work proposes that I think is so powerful, is that language is how humans create reality together. Language is how humans create our reality together. And so in that example, I declare war. Boom. If you have the authority, it changes history. I declare peace. If a president says, or a Supreme Court says, I declare reparations, we're going to take away this law. We're removing slavery. We're this, we're that. Those are all declarations and assertions if the person saying them has the right authority. And who gives the authority? We do, right? So we each, as individuals, as Amy's saying here, have the authority to make many declarations about our lives that create the reality around us. So I want you to think about some of the declarations that you've been making about yourself or about your life that are not necessarily true, that you're creating your reality based upon. I'm not a good enough singer. I used to use that as a declaration. I'm not a good singer. I used that as a declaration for so much of my life, and it prohibited me from sharing my voice in all the ways I want to. People saying, I'm young, I'm old. Assessments, really they are. But when you say that with the kind of declaration, you start to build your life around it. But we know it's not true because you see people in their 60s who seem younger than people in their 40s and vice versa. So what are the assertions and declarations that you are creating in your own life that are starting to create these broken mirrors around you? And I want you to start typing some of those in. Typing some of those in so that you can start to claim them. Here's a fun one that I really actually enjoyed when I learned this. So why, for those of you who are married, this is a perfect example of why speech, language is what creates our reality. Why are you married? If you're married, why are you married? You can type it in the chat box. I want to see. Love, because you love the person, because you want to spend your life with them, because of connection, because of partnership. Is that why we're married? No. You're not married because of any of these reasons. None of these reasons make you married. You want to know why you're married? Because someone said so. Literally. That's literally why you're married. Because somebody with authority said, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Without that, without the court document, you could love the person as much as you want. You could have as much connection if you want. You could have partnership as much as you want. Until someone with authority says so, declares it, you're not married. Whether you like it or not, right? So we saw this change in the world with, the legalization of gay marriage. There's many gay people who consider themselves married. They weren't married. They weren't married because a person with authority didn't say so, right? They can consider it in their own life, but it doesn't apply in the rest of the world. So this is really an important concept. And so the question becomes, okay, what are you declaring? What are you declaring in your own life? And this might remind some of you of some of the work that I talk about often when I talk about the power of fear. Okay, fear. So when I talk about fear and the 7 forms of fear, I often teach about conspiracy. And as a reminder, for those of you who haven't seen the Power of Fear episode, go back to that. The 7 forms of fear. This is the 7th form, conspiracy. And I love Brene Brown's quote of this. A conspiracy is a story with limited factual data points that we choose to fill in with our own values, ideas, and beliefs. A conspiracy is ultimately an assessment, right? It's some story that we have a limited factual data point about that we then choose to fill in with all of our own information. And so conspiracies are really can ruin our lives, especially when they're about us, because they keep us stuck in what if instead of actually facing the ability to start to create our reality together based off of facts. And so in this world right now, where you have part of the world calling people white supremacists, and part of the world now calling people woke supremacists, and then you have, people calling people racist, and they're like, I'm not racist. And then you have somebody calling somebody privileged, and they're like, I'm not privileged. I grew up in a shack. What are you talking about? And then you have people, and then all the things that we're saying about ourselves. These are the fun house mirrors that we're living in. And a big part of my work, and the work that I think we all have to do as a community, is help us ground our assessments in assertions that help us start to move forward and create a new reality together in our lives and in the community, for the collective and beyond. Okay? So we have to be super conscious of the assertions and assessments that we are making in our lives. So I want to do a quick practice with you all. So we're going to do a short practice together. And what I want you to do is close your eyes, place your hands over your heart, take a deep breath in and a breath out. And let's begin. I want you to start by thinking about all the positive assertions that you've started to make upon your own life, or that you've made upon your own life. And just ponder them. Let them kind of float through your mind. You don't have to remember them all. And think about how these assertions that you've chosen to make, the positive ones, how they've made an impact on your life. For example, I love my grandkids. I'm a good mother. What are the assertions that you've made upon your own life that are positive, that you have declared upon your life that are positive? And I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to think of a few. Beautiful. Open your eyes and type as many of those in as you can. Let's see a cascade for a moment here of positive assertions. Beautiful. And as you see those coming in, and you all look at those, what these assertions are that we've made on our own lives and how they have impacted us. I love myself, Anna. I am powerful, Eric. I have the power to choose love in all situations. I love my partner. I am extraordinary and unique. Beautiful. Look at these. Oh my goodness. I am ready for more. I'm a good listener. I have a powerful stage presence. I'm a servant leader. I love my family. I'm smart. I'm a good mom. I'm smart. I'm strong, lean and fit. I'm healthy, vibrant. I'm free. I can be different from my family. I'm loving, I'm intelligent, I'm healthy, I'm ambitious, I'm successful. This is beautiful. Wow. I'm a good mother. I love being present and a good mom and nana. I'm a good learner. This is great, right? So these are a lot of the assertions that we've set on our life. And you can see how that assertion alone, and a lot of these assertions, right, they end up kind of getting plugged into us from our families even, create the trajectory of our lives. I always had the assertion, I'm the smart kid. I'm an overachiever. I can accomplish anything I want except for singing, right? That was my assertion, always. I can't make enough money singing. That's going into the negative. So let me actually switch us now, hands over the heart, okay? And just feel the difference here as we do this. Take a breath in and a breath out. Now I want you to very compassionately think about some of the negative assertions and declarations that you've made upon your life. What are some of the assertions that you might be making now that are impacting your ability to become who you want to be? And just take a moment before you start even typing and just feel them. And feel the difference in the resonance. I'll be silent for a moment as you feel them out. All right, take a breath in and out and type these in now. And just hold a wide, compassionate space for everybody here, because we all have our assertions and declarations that we've made upon our lives that make the mirrors broken. Because the truth is, with the capital T, that you are powerful beyond measure. And so this is really important for us to look at these as they come in. I see you, Roseanne. Worry. I can't support my family financially. I never made my dreams come true. I'm hopelessly disorganized. I'm not healthy enough. I'm too old and life has passed me by. I'm bitchy. I'm selfish. I'm a fraud. I can't write. I'm not articulate. I don't work hard enough at anything. I'll never get to where I want to be. I can't focus. I worry too much. I'm stupid. I'm too loud. I'm not worthy of other people's time. I'm not creative or athletic. I take up too much space. I'm not enough. I'm too opinionated. I can't have what I truly want. I get involved more than I should with my kids. I don't have enough money. I'm not smart enough. Hands over the heart and just feel that for a second. Can you feel what that did to the energy, the resonance of our group, of our room, this virtual space that we're in? Just notice it. It almost hurt for me to say those out loud to you all. And so now we tap into the energy of your highest self, the energy of you with a capital S. And I want you to just bring back and remember who you are. Remember some of these positive assertions. And I want you to insert now some new declarations. Some new declarations. Here's your action on the power of your life. So based on some of these things that you've said about yourself that are the negative assertions, I would like you to now make a positive assertion that combats that negative assertion. Make a new declaration. And you can go into it with your eyes closed for a second if you want. What is a new, just pick one. What is a new declaration that you were choosing to make on your life? And right here, right now, make it. Make it. This is so beautiful, y'all. Make it. Type them in. So it's really, what was really special about that moment is I think we all here at the Kingdom hold each other in such a beautiful and high regard. We've come together as a community, and those of you who are brand new here, you'll start to feel the energy of this community. We all have gotten to know each other here over the past over half of a year. And when we hear the other people in our community saying these things, you could feel how it shuts down our energy. So imagine the amount of times that we're doing that to our own selves throughout the day. And so we constantly gotta come back to, what am I declaring? What are the assertions that I am making? And how is the language of those assertions creating the life that is in front of me? We create, according to Fernando Flores, our reality together, first through language. First thing, right? And this is what's so powerful. When I started learning this, I was really thinking about, when you read even in the Bible, before anything, what does it say? In the beginning was the Word. When we hear about sound, every tradition talks about how sound is what starts it all. And this kind of makes it a little bit more of a relatable version for us to put in our lives. But in the beginning was the Word. The Big Bang. What is a bang? A sound. The sound of Om. Has been said to be one of the first sounds, the primordial sound of the universe. Our cells are vibrating and pulsing all day with sound, resonating. And so here we watch the language that we use. And what I'm going to challenge you to do as your action moving forward is, as you move through the rest of your day and your week, and I think you will never be able to unsee this now, I want you to pay attention to the assertions that you make and the declarations that you make about yourself. I can't do this. I'm too out of shape. I can't do that. I can't walk over there. I'm too tired. I'm exhausted. I'm over it. I'm not interested in that. The universe doesn't want that for me right now. Are those declarations made in facts? Are you taking assessment upon assessment upon assessment and then letting it impact your life as you move forward? When we end up doing that, we end up creating all these stories about what we think the universe wanted for us and this and that, when really so often it is our own fears that are getting in the way of our growth and what we really desire in this life. All right, Kingdom family. This is our moment to take your golden nugget. So last time, hands over the heart. Close your eyes. We covered a lot today. And I want you to remember that you have the power within you to declare what is and what is to be in your own life. And yes, we all have to interact in this reality together, but there are certain things that we indeed have the authority to declare about ourselves. If Nelson Mandela can declare himself free inside of a prison cell, then you can declare yourself free in your own life. So what is the declaration that you want to make today? And what is the one golden nugget that you want to make sure you take away from this practice today, this teaching? So for those of you who are new, we always end this way. You think of one thing that, if you can remember just one thing from this whole session today, what would it be? And then go ahead and open your eyes and type it into the chat box. Beautiful. Beautiful, everybody. This is so powerful, and I'm so inspired by you all just supporting and loving on each other in the chat. Wow. I love this, Allison. I'm going to read Allison's comment because this feels very powerful. As a declaration, Allison said, here's an example. A friend and I recently went through cancer at the same time. We are both healed now. She chose to see her experience as a long, dark tunnel, and I chose not to enter the tunnel at all. And I didn't. It actually has been an amazing journey, even the hard parts. I brought love and power to all of it. Wow. This is so beautiful. This is so beautiful, and this is such a great testimony of the power of our declarations. So, Kingdom family, this is the power of the double A's. Let us close with a prayer. God, Spirit, Universe, all that is, all that ever has been, and all that ever will be, we thank you. May you guide us forward, creating declarations and assessments and assertions that empower us to live in the truest, fullest vision of you. May we live into the vision and the glory of our name, of our power, of our strength with a capital O, with our presence, to be the energy that we were put here to be as souls and spirits on this planet. May we remember when we make declarations that are not in our highest good that we have the power here and now to change them now and forevermore. May we remember that we have the authority to make the declarations that we need to step into the fullness of the vision of our lives. And when we don't remember, and when we don't know, we ask that you just insert these words into our heads. I can, I will, and even if I'm scared, I'm doing it anyways. Thank you, Kingdom family, for being here. Thank you, Spirit, for guiding us here. Thank you, God, Universe, for giving us the opportunity 39 weeks in. May we all be well. And yes, Magdalena, world peace. So it is. Ashe, Aho, Salam, Amen, Shalom, Satnam, Om, Awen. Thank you. I love you all so much. This is Justin Michael Williams signing out, and I'll meet you right here in this special place in our next session. Bye for now, everybody.